live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. Monday, July 31st. We're going in depth tonight on the sentencing of Lori Vallow Daybell. We'll be joined by Daniel Woodruff and criminal defense attorney Sky Lazaro coming up in just a few minutes. Before we dive in, though, let's take a look at what's making headlines on our website, KUTV.com. You can find a lot of these stories there. New information on a deadly crash from over the weekend where 3 people were killed after crashing their Tesla into this tree. Crews say speed and the fact that it was an electric vehicle made for a difficult response. Canyon School District buses have a new high-tech safety feature that you can find there on those buses. Sorry, we're just trying to get this headlines over here, and I think we're glitching. Anyway, that can detect instantly if the bus driver is disabled by the medical condition or even keep distracted driving and their eyes on the roads. Also in our headlines tonight, President Joe Biden getting ready to visit the Beehive State. The White House says he will make a stop in the Beehive State sometime between August 7th and 10th. They clarified to me today it's actually the 9th or the 10th. We're waiting to learn more details. The president will address the administration's efforts to combat climate change. Finally, in our headlines tonight, some new information on the state's new first-time home buyer program. So far, 194 first-time buyers have applied for the loans. 36 loans have closed. The loan can be used to help with the down payment, closing costs, or to buy down the interest rate on the home loan. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us throughout the show by using the hashtag 2NewsLive. It is easy to join the conversation. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those places. Send us a DM there to weigh in. Let's turn to our weather now. Meteorologist Chase Thomason is here. What's up?
Good to see you.
Good to be seen, especially by you, but not with this here. This is dangerous.
So you probably maybe notice a little bit more humidity out there, just a bit. You kind of feel it. Monsoon moisture is increasing. It is monsoon season, and we are tracking those thunderstorms. So we do have a risk for flash flooding. Those slot canyons, dry washes, rivers, creeks. They're very dangerous in central and southern Utah.
Feels like the East Coast to me, but
a little bit.
I just dealt with it. Yeah,
maybe not that much
not
moisture.
on that scale. Yeah. Let's take a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're tracking those thunderstorms right now. As you head out the door right now, we're not seeing as many here along the Wasatch Front, but down in southern Utah where we have a little bit more moisture to work with, that's where it's a little on the active side this afternoon. High pressure, though, is to the southeast, and it's pumping up that moisture right into Utah, and that's why we have some of these thunderstorms with the daytime heating in our geography. Mainly they go up in the mountains, and then sometimes they drift into the valleys. So St. George, you're dry, but take a look just to your west, to your north, to your east. We got storms kind of blossoming right now, and there's a chance some of it might be drifting into the region. So storms now going up near Zion National Park, just south of Cedar City. We've had some heavy rainfall towards Bryce Canyon today, and also some heavy rainfall near Escalante and Capitol Reef. Storms not really moving very much either. They're just kind of drifting to the north at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. You can see that we're quiet along the Wasatch Front, but we've had some heavy rainfall out towards Grantsville. Radar indicating more than an inch of rain near Grantsville, so there could be some standing water, but some of that rain is now drifting into Tooele. We got some lightning. The Wasatch back, though, pretty quiet. We do have some rain, though, across far northern Utah up towards Bear Lake. Right now beginning to dry out, but just to your south and to your east is where we have a little bit of rain. What you're seeing right here, that's what we call an outflow boundary. So even though there's not a shower in Cache Valley, these storms produce these gusty winds, and you can see winds anywhere between 30-40 miles per hour. Could be a little gusty this evening if you don't get the rainfall. Now, as we head into tonight, here we are by 8 o'clock. Notice right now, Wasatch Front could stay dry, but we can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm. The best chance will be across portions of west central Utah and southern Utah. And then as we head into tonight, a couple lingering showers possible, won't be as heavy. And then I think tomorrow we'll have a better chance to see some of these scattered storms roll into the Wasatch Front. But again, going up over the mountains and a few drifting into the valleys with lingering showers tomorrow night. And then Wednesday, another round of rain. It stays pretty active this week. Temperatures for tomorrow will be in the low to mid 90s. No triple digits, that's nice. We'll be in the 80s, though, across portions of northeastern and central Utah, with mid 90s down in St. George. So our rain chances, they're going up, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's probably our best chance to see rain. Not a guarantee with these monsoon thunderstorms. And then we've got some drier air moving in by the end of the weekend into the weekend, but still maybe some isolated stray thunderstorms Friday and Saturday. Now, St. George, you're in the 90s for a couple days. Excuse me. As we wrap up the week, though, we got some drier air and we're above 100 Saturday and Sunday. So enjoy the rain and the cooler weather for the next few days because it gets hot again. Salt Lake, we are in the mid-90s tomorrow. We're in the upper 80s, though, really for the rest of the weekend near 90. So nice little cool down. Our AC won't be in overdrive. Enjoy the rain, especially in the afternoon and overnight hours. And then I think by Sunday, Monday, though, we're pretty quiet. But those temperatures are staying in the upper 80s. That big ridge of high pressure, Brian, it's moving away from Utah to the east. So those numbers will be a few degrees below normal.
Well, thanks for giving us all a break, too. I mean, my AC's just been cranking there. I wonder if it's even turned off at all here. I've been like saying, hey, let's turn the lights off and at least like
it's got to take a little bit of a break. But yeah,
yeah,
it'll still be running. It's warm near 90, but nothing, I mean, the 60s right now, that'll help things overnight.
Anytime overnight, if you can dip into the 60s, the high 50s, that'll feel pretty good.
Yep.
Thank you, Chase. Remember to download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. You can get updated forecasts, some live radar right at the palm of your hand. The app is free to download. Hey, let's go in depth on the big talker today. This is something that we've got on our website, KUTV.com, if you need to get caught up. Lori Vallow Daybell sentenced to life in prison for killing her children. An Idaho judge made the decision at the sentencing hearing today. This comes after Daybell was found guilty on all 6 charges she was facing, including murdering her 2 children and her husband Chad's late wife, Tammy Daybell. Daniel Woodruff has been quite busy today. He's outside the courthouse once again for us. Daniel, what's the conversation been like outside of the courthouse this afternoon and tonight?
Well, as people came out of the courthouse today from the sentencing and they kind of gathered here behind me outside the Fremont County Courthouse, there was a sense of celebration among the supporters of those family members of the victims who had gathered here today to speak before Lori Vallow Daybell was sentenced. They told the court how they had been impacted by her crimes. There was a lot of emotion with that. And then when they came out, there was a sense of relief, a sort of a sigh of relief and some finality to this. Even though Lori Vallow Daybell is not done going to court, she has to go to Arizona at some point in the future to face murder conspiracy charges there. And then her husband, Chad Daybell, is going to be tried. At least he's set to sometime next year here in Idaho in the same murder case. There was a sense here outside the courthouse today that this is a relief and some satisfaction for the family members of the victims, knowing that they cannot get their family members and their loved ones back, but at least they know that Lori Vallow Daybell will never be outside prison at any point in her life again.
Daniel, we heard from Lori Vallow Daybell. She spoke for about 6, 7, 8 minutes or so in court. What did her family members or those extended family members make of her comments today? Did they remark on that?
Yeah, Larry Woodcock, who's the grandfather of J.J. Vallow, he called her comments pathetic. He said it was a cock and bull story that nobody believed. And then reporters asked some of the other family members of Tammy Daybell what they thought of it, and they said they didn't want to dignify it with a response.
Daniel Woodruff live for us tonight. Daniel, thank you for being a part of 2 News Live and for your coverage of the Lori Vallow Daybell trial as it's made its way week by week by week. Daniel, thanks again. As we mentioned, we've heard from Lori Vallow Daybell today. If you'd like to hear the entire portion of what she said in court today, it's on our website, KUTV.com. There we will link you to our YouTube channel so you can go there too. She spoke about dying while giving birth to Tylee in the hospital. She described an out-of-body experience and having access to heaven and the spirit world, as she describes it. She says she communicated with people in heaven, including her own children. Here's another part of what she said today.
I mourn with all of you who mourn my children and Tammy. Jesus Christ knows the truth of what happened here. Jesus Christ knows that no one was murdered in this case. Accidental deaths happen. Suicides happen. Fatal side effects from medications happen.
So we heard from Lori Vallow Daybell in a small snippet there. Again, the whole thing is on our YouTube channel right now. This is from J.J. Vallow's grandmother, Kay Woodcock, who also had a victim impact statement, who also spoke. This is what she put out on socials. So this is always a little bit more candid, right? 5 consecutive life sentences. That is what she believes will happen because there were 3 today. So she's thinking maybe more coming up in Maricopa County, Arizona. bye-bye loco. That's the part that got me. She's done. So we obviously did hear from them, as Daniel Woodruff mentioned to us today. But let's go in depth on the case a little bit further. Criminal defense attorney Sky Lazaro back with us here. We knew she'd be back. But interestingly enough, Sky, you mentioned there would be some consecutive motion to what happened in the sentencing today. No surprise, I assume?
None at all. I think when you have multiple victims in a case where you have a murder and a conviction and such as this, especially in light of the statement made by Lori that I expected there would at least be several consecutive sentences. Her
statement itself was very interesting. I saw the judge taking some notes there. The judge was very stern-faced. I'm sure you can only imagine what was going through someone's head when they hear what Lori Vallow has to say after all of this time. What did you think about the words that she said? Was it useful in any way to her, or did it hurt her in theory?
I think it probably hurt her more than it helped her. The only chance she would have had of convincing this judge to perhaps give her some sort of determinate term sentence that the defense argued for was if she'd gotten up and shown remorse and taken responsibility. In this case, where she did not and actually made a statement that she didn't even believe anyone was murdered or something to that effect, I don't think it helped her in this sense, and I think the judge highlighted that in his sentencing.
So we know that what is done in theory in Idaho, right? There will be something to be said about what happens next there, but there's still the case about Arizona. So this is far from over as far as Lori Vallow Daybell is concerned. What do we think happens there, given what we know has already happened here? Does one influence the other?
You know, that is hard to say. It's up to the prosecutors down in Maricopa County how they want to address this case. We're dealing with completely separate victims, so they deserve and their families deserve to be heard as well. With consecutive life sentences, I don't know if they'll pursue anything further, and Lori just may be one of those people who's never going to take a plea deal. I mean, those cases may go to trial as well.
Obviously, you mentioned the differences. The two children are, I think, front and center for so many people out there that have been watching this over the past few years. The Arizona cases have kind of gone under the radar a little bit. So it is almost, in a way, forgotten, I think, that there's still this part left. More people seem to be thinking about what happens with Chad. When does that get underway? A few more months still?
Well, she'll be extradited to Arizona, and once she gets there, then that case will commence.
So that could happen rather quickly.
I would expect it, given the statements made by Maricopa County after she was convicted in this case and that case was filed. It sounded like shortly after sentencing they'd look to be extraditing her down there to be able to face those charges.
Sky Lazaro joining us in studio to break this all down and look at, I guess, what happens next. We will keep an eye on what happens next with Lori, but we will talk about in just a sec what happens next with Chad. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
So what is next? With Lori sentenced to life without bail, we're turning our attention to her husband's trial. Chad facing similar charges to his now sentenced wife, expected in court April 1st, 2024. So in total, Chad facing 6 charges, including murder in the death of his first wife, Tammy Daybell, and the deaths of Lori, her children rather, J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Now, back in March, the judge in this case decided to try Chad and Lori separately. Just last week, that same judge cleared Chad's attorneys to look over a copy of Lori Vallow Daybell's entire trial transcript. However, the judge did not allow them to view any of the exhibits used during Lori's trial. During the lead up to his trial, Chad's 5 kids have come to his defense, all of them adults, saying in an interview, quote, they are convinced of his innocence. If you've missed any part of today's sentencing hearing, head to our KUTV YouTube page. We've posted Lori Vallow Daybell's full statement, as we mentioned, as well as the judge's full statement and sentencing. For so many of you involved in this over the years, if you want to see this portion of how things play out, you can find it right there at KUTV 2 News on YouTube. Thanks for watching 2 News Live tonight. We will be back with you tomorrow at 5:30, another edition right here. Whether you're streaming us on YouTube, Facebook, KUTV.com, the 2 News mobile app, News on Stir on your television. There are many places you can find us. And as always, you can watch episodes again on our YouTube channel in the live section. Have a great night.